I'm Kris Hagan. For those who don't know, I've been a language coach for many years. In my career, I've taught a wide variety of people, from famous singers and radio presenters to doctors, uni students, and yes, even desperate housewives trying to find an English lover. I've finally decided to share my thoughts, tips and tricks with the world. Also check out my YouTube channel if you want to see my ugly mush. So let's kick off this podcast with a great jingle.
Doesn't matter where you are, in the car or at the bar. Here for you comes in your ears, another word for thanks is cheers. Here's the new kid from the block, here for you around the clock, shining all his English tips. Kris
is an anagram of risk.
Kris.
Hello, and welcome to this week's dating special. No, it's not an actual dating agency kind of thing. We're not going to be asking you to phone in and sell yourself or anything like that. But we're going to talk about some of your dates from hell. I asked you all last week to let me know your dates from hell. I received many of which I can't repeat because they're too vulgar for air, or received in direct messages. Surprise, surprise, you shy people out there don't want the public or the social media world to know exactly what went on your first date. So we've got some of them that we can actually read out, and also an audio from Nicholas. So first though, what is first this week? First, what is first? Well, obviously it's first.
And I beg you to fix it.
In fact, that's probably the most romantic jingle that we have. So let's do some fixing this week. So I want you to fix the following. Remember, monies does exist, but only in a specific context. So money is uncountable. As we all know, God knows why, money is uncountable in English. The only thing we can count are pounds, pence, euros, cents, dollars. So the actual currency we can count. The physical things that you can put in your hand. Yes, I know money is physical, but don't question me about that. That's English. What can we do? So money is uncountable, but monies does exist. But when? Do you know? Monies we use more in a legal term when we're talking about different amounts or different sums of money. So, for example, if I take somebody to court, God forbid I wouldn't do something like that, but if I did for different reasons, so maybe I'm suing somebody because he broke my car, or I'm suing a woman because she broke my hand. Hi. Speaking from experience. Okay, so there's two different court cases going on. So I would say the monies I am owed, okay, because I need to receive money from one person and money from another person in a legal context. So this way, in a financial context, the same. Financial, legal, all the same. So you can use monies. But what about the spelling? Well, the spelling can be two different ways, but it can be M-O-N-E-Y-S, but we don't tend to use that one anymore. We tend to use the M-O-N-I-E-S spelling. So remember, when you're speaking in day-to-day basis, when you're speaking to your friends, we use money uncountable, but monies does exist. So if you're an accountant, a lawyer, or someone who deals with different quantities of money, only use the word monies when you're talking about your work.
Just a bit of adverts.
On those dark, dreary days, or sunbathing on the beach, check out our YouTube channel for our videos about comprehension, vocabulary, and pronunciation. There are even videos to practice your writing. Go to YouTube and type my name, Kris Hagan. It's as easy as that. So let's get started with our first date from hell. We need some nice music. Can I have some music? There we go. Now this person, I'm going to call her Valerie. Okay, her name isn't Valerie, but she knows who she is. Sent me a message in a direct message where she said I can actually talk about it. So here we go. I went out with a guy that asked me out on a pizza dinner date after school. Guessing he's Italian. Turned out getting a slice of pizza from a curb store. Okay, last week, just a little interjection here. Curb does exist for all you people out there who think it doesn't exist. In English, we have a word for a curb. Check what it is in your language so you understand what I'm talking about now. So she turned Valerie and Mr. Italian, I'm guessing, Mr. Pizza, let's call him, turned out getting a slice of pizza from a curb store, paying for both mine and his slice. He said something on the lines of, "I'm such an idiot, I forgot my wallet at home today." Never heard that one before. The young lady from the store signalled her to ditch him with her hands while he went outside looking for God knows what in his pockets. obviously pretending to look for his wallet. And then they went into the city centre and pigeons were attacking them for their food, for the wonderful pizza. Must have been so delicious. He then later asked her out again, and because she says she was a big idiot searching for love, in inverted commas, at high school, so she agreed and went out with him. She said, over 10 years later, and here I am researching boundaries in college. I wish I know now what I would have known. I wish I would have known then what I know now. She wrote it right, but my tongue was in the wrong place. So thank you, Valerie, for your wonderful story of your date from hell. Now, this one I've just read from Fabiana, but it's very, very short, but it's very funny. I went out with a hot footballer only because I was mistaken for my prettier blonde friend. Never again. How embarrassing. So you turn up at the date and he goes, it's not you. And here's another nice story who I've been told I can use her name. I actually met this girl in the supermarket 20 minutes ago as well. Hi, Chiara. On her first date with her future husband, who's now her husband, but she didn't know that back at the time, she burst into tears talking about her ex. He married her anyway. So obviously, love at first sight does exist, even if you're covered in snot and tears. How nice. Now, before we read some more stories, I want to tell you a story about one of my friends, not me. I'm not doing the thing of one of my friends. This is actually one of my friends. She, many, many years ago, her relationship with her husband was on the rocks. Let's call her Jenny. She's not called Jenny, but we'll call her Jenny. I'll probably forget the name and change it 20 times during the story, but I've actually said this, told people this story on the TikTok channel I have, so go and have a look at some more wonderful stories. All illegal. No, I'm joking, they're all legal. Basically, this girl, Jenny, get it right, said to me, Kris, I want to split up from my husband and he wants to split up from me. Easiest solution is just split up, but no, they decided to live in the same house for another 35 million years probably. So what she decided to do in her wisdom, I don't know if you remember this because many of you are probably really, really young, a lot younger than I am. Not feeling sad or anything. But basically, this girl, Jenny, put herself in the newspaper, not a photo, not something like page 3 with her breasts out. She put an advert in the dating ads in newspapers. Yes, people out there who are 20 years old, in the past, that is the old version of Tinder. It's called the dating page, the dating ads in a newspaper. You write a couple of sentences about yourself and then people phone you and leave a message, but not you directly. It's not like these days. They phone a recorded box answering machine thing where you leave your message. Then if you match up, you go on this date. So basically, Jenny matched with this guy. I'm laughing already just because I know it's funny. Well, I think it's funny. She then went to the restaurant to meet this guy. Now, obviously, she was first. Remember, ladies, always remember arrive after, just because then you can check out what's actually on offer and do a runner if you need to. Jenny didn't do that. She arrived early because she was so eager to leave her husband, sat down in this restaurant, and then this guy came in. She recognised him from his description. God knows how. But he obviously recognised her as well. And he came over to her, to the table, didn't even sit down, looked at her and said, "Sorry, I'm allergic to dogs," and left. Now, until this day, I still think she hasn't got a clue why he meant or why he said that, because she actually said to me afterwards, "But how did he know I had dogs?" Okay, now we have an audio message from Nicholas. You will hear from Nicholas in the future as well, because he's going to join us a few times in the podcast. He sent an audio message as a response to my question about a date from hell. Have a listen.
No, it's an amazing story. It's okay.
Tell me.
One time, a girl said to me, "Yes, we can go at one bar. We can drink something, and then nothing. We decide what to do."
Mm-hmm.
And I came at this bar with this girl.
Yeah.
I start to drink something with her and to talk about life. And at one time, this girl said, "Yes, we can go at my house to stay with me, to drink something at my house."
Huh.
But immediately I said yes, because it was amazing. But nothing. When I arrived at her house, I imagined that it will be the first time. I imagined that it will be alone at her house, no?
Uh-huh.
But when I come at her house, I see that there was not only the mother and the father, but also the grandmother. So was unexpected. I stayed with there for 1 hour, but was the worst date. Imagine it was not the first date, the second dating, the second date with this girl with her family. So imagine was shit.
So basically it was a date with the whole family. How nice. So keep your ears peeled because you will be I will be speaking to Nicholas and you'll be hearing from him in the future. Now I also received some messages from some people saying I've never had a date. Why not? In this generation now, this young generation that still exists, okay, old people, yes, we do still date. I don't anymore, but people do still date. You can date. It's not a case of you send a message on Instagram and then you meet and hey presto, you're a couple. But I don't understand. In this period, young people, do they still date? Do they date properly? I've received many messages from young people saying, I don't date. So what do you do? What? Now, our Laura also sent us a message. She said she went on a blind date from an online service. Don't know which one that is, but an online service. I agreed to drinks only for the first meeting. Okay. He was presumptuous and judgy. I was offended early on. He insisted on buying dinner. I didn't even want to listen to him past one beverage. Very posh there. But I was too polite in my youth. Now she isn't. Laura, I love you. We also have a message from Stefania who says, from the first second she went on her blind date, she had to figure out an excuse to get away, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I'm too nice sometimes. Stefania, I'm sure you're really, really nice. Now, I've saved the best for last because this one just makes me laugh, and it just basically shows what kind of a world we're living in right now. This one is from Bruce_of_my_life on TikTok. Bruce of my life. Go and follow her because of him. I don't know if it's Bruce. Bruce is the dog. But I don't actually know. Is it a man or a woman? This is the problem with social media. Anyway, the comment is, too many bad days. I've had too many bad days. Maybe the one with my patient's husband. I was her midwife a few weeks before. I knew that, but I didn't tell him. And he was single. He said he was single. Anyway, that must have been really uncomfortable. Not for you, because his problem if you're single. But when these people say they're single and they're not, what are they doing? I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when she was giving birth and her husband was holding her hand after being on a date with you. Been fantastic. So on the same theme, today I put a post on Instagram and TikTok or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere on social media, asking to know the best and worst chat-up lines you ever heard. The first one I received was pretty similar to my story, actually. It was, I like your dog. Whether that was a chat-up line or not, but maybe, and then getting attention because your dog's cute and you're not bad either. That could be a chat-up line, I don't know. So go over to my Instagram and send me a message and let me know what were your best and worst chat-up lines you've ever heard, you've ever used, and then we can share them with the world so we know what not to use and which ones to avoid. So for now, you've had a wonderful dating episode. Last week you had the wonderful Jubilee special with my father, and now we've had a nice dating special. So see you all next week. Jingle. Bye.
Doesn't matter where you are, in the car or at the bar. Here for you comes in your ears, another word for thanks is cheers. Here's the new kid from the block, here for you around the clock. Shining on his English lips, Kris
is an anagram of risk.
Kris.